This is for any new mom out there who is struggling with the idea of sleep training. And I just want to say that you don't have to sleep train. You don't have to do it, period. I don't know why before I had kids, and then even at the beginning of having my son, I felt like it wasn't really a conversation of if we should sleep train, but rather when we should sleep train. It just kind of felt like everyone sleep trained their babies, and that was just like the next step in what to do. So to give a little bit of context, I'll tell you our journey with sleep training, how we failed at it basically, and then what we do now. So we sleep trained my son when he was around 6 or 8 months or something. And we did I think it's called the Ferber method. It's like similar to like Cry It Out, but a little bit, less intense. So we did that for 2 days and it was absolute torture, but it was super effective, right? So I have nothing against sleep training. I think that it's really effective. It can be really great for family dynamics, helping you to get more sleep. So I'm like a huge proponent of it, especially if it will help your like mental and physical health. So yeah, we did it. Within 2 days, he was falling asleep on his own. We would just put him in the crib. It was like somewhat fantastic. But like our life we are traveling a lot, right? So to give you guys an idea, my son is 16 months now, and he's been on like 20 plus flights. He's been to 4 different countries just by like, a lot of random things in our life. We are having to travel a lot. So about a week after we sleep trained my son, we ended up having to travel, and we were staying at a hotel for a few days. And during, when you're staying at a hotel with a baby, you ask them for a crib, they have a crib. So we couldn't, let him sort of cry it out in the hotel room, because that would just feel like torture if your baby's like right next to you in a crib and you're just like, they're staring at you and you like are letting them cry. It's kind of rough. So, and then also he wasn't falling asleep on his own because it's a totally new environment. So definitely if you sleep train, you need to be consistent about it. And that's what they all say. But I was like, okay, this just isn't really going to work, because by the time then we were gone for a couple of days, we came back to our apartment, and by the time we came back, he was no longer sleeping on his own. It's like we had never sleep trained him. And I just told my husband, I was like, we are not doing this again. Like, I'm not going through that again. Everything about sleep training, the process of it felt like it went against my instincts as a mom. And I can't go through that again. So it was kind of like in that moment that I was like, okay, let me trust my instincts and figure out what works for us and our family and like the context of our life. And how we can kind of make a routine that is, still effective, but works for our own life. So basically what I do, we have a whole sleep routine, which is definitely really important. I think that helps a lot. So we have a routine, we wash his face, brush his teeth, change him, turn on the sound machine. And then I feel like I'm kind of the anchor where I hold him to sleep every night. So I read him a couple books, and then, I hold him and sing to him a little bit, and he falls asleep within, I would say, 10 to 20 minutes most nights. There's the occasional night where he's just kind of fighting sleep a little bit, but I think that probably goes for any situation that you're in. But yeah, and I hold him, and I feel like some people, I don't know why that seems so crazy to some people that like, oh, you would hold your baby every single night for what, like years for them to fall asleep. But I'm like, it's like a really great moment for us. It's like 10 to 20 minutes where I just get to be in the present moment with my son. And anytime I start to feel like if it is a tougher night, anytime I start to feel like, oh, like, this is tough, I just think there's going to be a day that my son wants like nothing to do with me, right? Like there's going to be a day where he doesn't want me to hold him and he wants to do everything on his own, and I'm really going to miss these moments. And so I just decide in that moment that like, let me savor this moment where, you know, he's wanting me to hold him, he's trusting me, and, you know, it's totally changed my perspective of, you know, sleep training or holding your baby to sleep. And I definitely understand that that does not work for everyone in their life. And so, you know, I think sleep training is a great option and it is effective. And so if that's what works for your life, then like you should do that. But then I think there's also a lot of people out there who, you know, you're not feeling like you want to sleep train and it feels kind of crazy to not do so. And I just want to say that it's like really not that bad to not sleep train your baby. It actually feels like such an honor and a privilege to be able to, you know, hold my son every night and like have that level of trust with him. And I'm not saying that that's what you need to do. You don't need whatever it is that works for your like your life. I guess my purpose with this is just to say that, you know, read about sleep training, read about what other people are doing, and then implement in your life in the way that makes sense, and trust your intuition. Like, you are a parent and you feel these certain things, and so like I just feel like we don't have to do everything the way like one parenting book tells us to do it, or the way one, you know, online article says to do it. Like, you know your situation the best, and you know, feel empowered about that.